Welcome to Wilton Mill in Northamptonshire for the remaining 3 finals in this, the opening round of the 2022 Ultimate Karting Championship. With nearly 230 entries across Minimax, Junior Rotax and Senior Rotax, it's easy to see that that Rotax engine is one of the most popular in karting today. And earlier on, I had a walk around the paddock to find out exactly why that is.
Three great things about the Rotax engine, obviously, is affordability, reliability and the warranty system.
For me personally, I think that the Rotax engines are way more reliable than any other, such as X30s, like they run for about 15 hours and Rotaxes run for about 50. So way more reliable and also way more affordable, so a lot more people can get involved in the sport.
The Rotax engine is really reliable and it's like really easy to power and just gives you great performance all around, really.
I think it's value for money. I think the fact that you can't buy your way to the front, there's so little difference between the engines, makes it all about the kids and the setup of the karts itself.
We get constant phone calls each day when engines come into us. It's me personally who measures the engines. The engines leave us with a seal. They go to a service centre, whatever service centre do on an engine, they send a sheet back to us with the seal number, and that gives us a history of the engine. We get phone calls every day, people phone us up asking us the history of the engine. We can give the history of an engine from day one, going back to the original engines. We can give any history, you know, what's been done on the engine and what parts have been put in the engine.
Something about the Rotax engine I like very much is how you have to feed the power and be smooth, because from a driver's point of view you need lots of skills to do that.
Before I raced X30 and it was very, very expensive compared to the Rotaxes, and I could get more engines, compete at a higher level because it weren't as performance different as X30.
When Rotax brought in the CNC barrel, that basically changed all the chasing for the barrels. Nowadays they're so even. I mean, we had a kart engine go out today. Chap has pulled it in the junior class, so it proves that the big money hasn't got to be spent on the engines anymore. If you look at the Minimax can run all year long. You know, it's de-restricted engine. It'll go on and on forever.
I think last year we didn't rebuild the engines till the very end of the year, so I just, like I said, great value for money. Press the button and they go. Not a lot to do other than set the car up on the weekend.
I've been to Jag and I've saw the engines in the boxes. You can race one straight out of a box. Engine fiches, very, very good, and they're very reliable and cost effective.
It's cheap, the parts are cheaper. It's as far as engine rebuilds, hours between engine rebuilds, you know, they just go on forever. They're bulletproof.
Minimax is the first final that we're featuring in this programme, so let's go straight to the action with your race commentators Jake Sanson and Alan Tadei.
You like your racing close, you're definitely going to get it. It's already drama. There's a spinner on the formation lap. That's how difficult it's going to be in the final today. Joshua Graham and Noah Wolf will be on the front row of the grid for this one. From Finn Leslie and Sebastian Mins, Harrison Whitacombe and Freddie Housley of the Sam Pollock Racing Team. Harry Bartle and William Murphy, Josh Salvadori and Liam Hartley. From Thomas Min-Spearing and Josh Turnbull, Michael Walker and Finley Buck. From Hugh Moulton, Dana Moore, Taylor Orridge, Victor Hansen, Thomas Behrman and Jack West. Rounding out the field, Michael Dalton will be in front of Zane Quaker, Mentia and Cullen. And then we'll see some great challenges from further back. Watch out for Ben Simpson and Kasper Tomilewski. They'll be charging their way through from the tail end of the grid. Drivers will come through. Are we going to go racing? Yes, we do. It's a little bit lackadaisical into Crooked Oblivion. But at the front of the field, we are going to get drivers going through, and it's a run wide from the race leader. So we're about to see a lead change. We go to the middle of the field as Taylor Orridge, our new onboard 360-degree cameraman for this weekend. Zane Quaker's battling away with Singer Ravich. We've got the 94 in front, that's Gregor Reed, and we bang wheels with Quaker. And look at Thomas Behrman. He gets an absolute slingshot through on the inside there to make his way through. Orridge is going to go 3-4 wide as he battles through. Singer Ravich is going to go with him as they storm past Victor Hansen. Hansen's going to get back on the inside as they go into Wilkins. Oh, and he spins. Victor Hansen washes out. That's so unfortunate, but so easy to do. There's Danamore. Look at the side pods of his car. He is running in traditional colours of Ukraine in support of the current situation. It's wonderful to see. There's quite a few teams that have put stickers on their carts this weekend. The 92, Jack West, runs out a little bit wide as Danamore comes through. Now he's going to get through on the inside of Hugh Moulton. What an amazing lap on board that was with Taylor Orridge, but it's Finn Leslie who leads the way. Josh Graham has plummeted down to 7th behind Will Murphy, his teammate.
Disaster for Graham at the start, but what great onboard action. The onboard camera for Taylor Orridge is a quality performer. Taylor Orridge, one of my favourite drivers in the last 3 or 4 years, and he's bringing us all the action there in the midfield, and we're back on board with him.
So he tucks in behind Finley Buck. They go through Ashby, and that's Thomas Mintz spearing for Argenti Motorsport going through. Last season they had maybe 3-4 drivers at most. Now they've got about 300.
Yeah, I think Ron Meadows owes us a few favours there for the interview we did with them last year at Glannygorse Park. That's Josh Graham on the 88, going down the inside is Orridge once more. But yeah, it was interesting this weekend. There's 6 drivers in Minimax alone in the field. There's 68 drivers, of course, taking part this weekend, so only the top 34 make these super finals. But Ron and Argenti Motorsport seem to have picked up a lot of drivers this season after that interview he did at Glannygorse.
Well, when you see what Dan Ginchard did in the Ultimate Karting Championship last year with Argenti, and now he's a Mercedes AMG F1 junior driver, it's no surprise that everybody wants a piece of the action there. So Sebastian Mins is your leader. Great battles in the midfield, and we saw Thomas Mintz spearing and Alexander Zingarevich both trying to get themselves in there with Hugh Moulton and Thomas Behrman, who is the younger brother of Ollie Behrman, who was very successful in his karting days. Now, of course, he's part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, and he's actually watching on the sidelines. Sebastian Mins gets the fastest lap in. Noah Wolf now gets it. I saw some spots of rain on the camera lens there, so things are about to get very tricky for the Minimax runners in the Super Final. As Noah Wolf, who is on a crest of a wave at the moment, he cannot stop winning. Noah Wolf is a bit of a victory machine these days. As he runs in 3rd position, he is tucking up behind Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie. This is going to be a 3-way banter battle of the Royal Ages.
Yeah, whenever you get 68 drivers in a field, as we've got here in Minimax, Senior Rotax, 91 in juniors, by the way, coming up later, only the top 34 can make the finals. So it is difficult to pick out who you think will win a championship, but Noah Wolf picked him out before the weekend. He was my favourite coming in to this weekend to win the championship, and he's not disappointing at the moment.
Oh, that's lovely from Taylor Orridge. He finds a very small line to get through on the inside there of his opponent, Michael Walker. So he storms through past the Coles Racing driver, and now there's a little bit of banter behind as Josh Graham is trying to get through on the inside to come back on the warpath. Danamore trying to squeeze through up in the air, and Danamore spins, and he gets tangled up, I'm afraid, with Michael Walker. So Walker and Amore both come off the road there at Christmas. Look how sideways the carts are getting out of Wilkins and up towards Oziers. Down the back straight, Mins, Leslie, Wolf, and they're struggling for grip at the moment. Turnbull going well in 4th ahead of Bartle and Hartley. Then Will Murphy. Taylor Orridge is up to 8th. Then it's Joshua Graham. We're watching these drivers come through. Amore, Buck, Moulton, Spearing and Behrman. Noah Wolf! My goodness, that is bravery! Storms through on the inside into Crook. Full confidence, full ability in the kart, knows what's going to happen, and he's getting over the lead on the inside of Sebastian Mins. Thanks for the memories, boys. I'm off.
2 turns, 3rd to 1st, just like that. Noah Wolf has the lead. Now, can they hold on to him? I suspect they will. This is going to be a 3-way battle, I think, right to the end. And it's, frankly, anybody's. Anybody's, providing you're in this top 3, because where is the 4th place kart? Miles behind.
Yeah, 4 seconds adrift of the 3rd place driver alone. But Noah Wolf for the Synergy Racing team, he has lined up Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie very carefully. Now it's about what they can do to retaliate. Fastest lap of the race last time around for Noah Wolf. It's going to be an interesting one as they continue their way through. Finley Buck has now put himself up to the fast end of the dais.
Harry Bartle through to 4th place, Jake going through the line. Josh Turnbull drops to 5th from Liam Hartley, then William Murphy. Taylor Orridge in 8th. Where did he start, Jake? He was down, I think it was down in something like 20, 24th, something like that. So that's a great effort so far.
He was definitely worse than the mid-pack, so what a comeback drive from Taylor Orridge, coming his way through the field. But the greasy nature of this circuit with drizzle on the road is definitely going to make things tricky. Sebastian Mins with his arm in the air there. Was that a gesture to Finn Leslie? Come on, let's go get the man in front. We need to work together here, as Noah Wolf is the fastest man on track again. A 48.112 from him now, as the battles continue out on the track. Still anybody's guess in the midfield. There are plenty of drivers that can still make an impact. This is the battle for 4th place. That is Harry Bartle in front of Joshua Turnbull. And Liam Hartley, who has still kept himself in the top 6, despite a crazy weekend. He's either been first or worst at various points over the course of the weekend, been very, very quick throughout, and he's had a lot of bad luck leading up to this, but he is there to go for the podium. He's got a lot of work to do now that the top 3 are well clear, but Murphy is 7th, Orridge is 8th, then Graham, Moulton, Buck, Minspearing, Salvadori, who had a brilliant victory yesterday in the first heat. It's Noah Wolf in front of Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie. The battle's still raging, and there's still rain in the air here at Wilton Mill. Can he hold on? Back to the action in Minimax Super Final as Sebastian Mins is going to make his bid on the inside of Noah Wolf. Wolf slams the door shut in his face as they go through Christmas. Now he's got to hold on to 2nd position in front of Finn Leslie. That was as close as you like. Noah Wolf is not going to concede anything here at Wilton Mill, and we knew that that threat was on him because Sebastian Mins had just banged in the fastest lap of the race. So now Sebastian Mins shows his cards to Noah Wolf. Wolf is not going to concede easily.
Yeah, Mins with the fastest lap, but Noah Wolf has track position, and that's the way he likes it at this stage. We're counting down the laps. Mins puts in another fastest lap last time round, 47.9. But it is Wolf that has the lead, and it's Leslie looks like he's coming under pressure now in 3rd place, just losing the back of the leaders.
Yeah, he really needs to stay with them, but he's going to get his chance as Wolf defends. Mins can't go round the outside at Christmas. So Noah Wolf holds on, and that's a brilliant opportunity for Finn Leslie because those two are still dueling. Wolf parks the kart in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it just shows you, once the man out front starts defending, the man in 3rd place immediately catches up to the back of them and now puts himself in position to take that 2nd place off Sebastian Mins.
Now watch Wolf here. He's going to put it right in the centre of the circuit because he needs to make sure that Mins can't go left, can't go right, can't get an undercut. He's just going to place the car nice and neatly around the course. Wherever there's an opportunity for Mins to get by, he's essentially got to make sure that he can second guess where Mins is going to put the kart. He gets a good run off the turn, and look, Wolf has just completely solidified his position in the middle. Now back on board with Taylor Orridge, and we have caught the triumvirate in front of Bartley, Murphy, Turnbull. And Orridge is going to swing round Liam Hartley. Is there going to be an opportunity? They bang wheels very, very faintly, and that's enough for Orridge to get through on Liam Hartley. That puts him up a position, and here comes Josh Graham. He wants a piece of it and gets through into Ashby as they run up towards Wilkins. Now we are going to target Joshua Turnbull. Turnbull is going to give it an opportunity. Wow! Orridge completely sideswipes him, and there was just a little bit of a nudge of the front fairing that might be loose on the left side of the kart. As up the inside, Murphy takes advantage of the hesitation from Taylor Orridge, and that is going to shake up the positions once again. He runs wide out of the final turn. This could be Orridge getting a run out of Crook through Oblivion, off the curbs, and he gets by because Murphy drifts off. Up Fine Lady, along Manuel's bank, and Moulton has got through as well past Graham. Graham trying to hang it out through Christmas, but he has to concede. Hugh Moulton in the Coles Racing Machine gets by, and as they hop through Inkermans, it is done and dusted for Taylor Orridge at the front of that gaggle. But now we've got Wolf, Mins and Leslie. How about this for a switcheroo? This is going to be an amazing squabble. Up the inside, it is a conceding there for Gregor Reed as Michael Dalton and Kasper Tomilewski both managed to get through on the inside line there. This is what I love about karting at this level. The Ultimate Karting Championship really has been spectacular in its first 2 seasons. This is season 3, of course, for the championship. And it doesn't matter where you look, you're always going to get a little bit of action.
Finley Buck is the man that set the fastest lap last time round. He's just moved up to 8th place as they go through the line. This is the battle for the lead.
On the last lap as well.
Yeah, Harry Bartle now sets the fastest lap.
So this is going to be tough for Finn Leslie. It looks as though Leslie's going to get his chance on Mins before Mins can have a crack at Wolf, but Wolf is trying to keep it nice and planted. Mins has got one chance here into the boot. Look at the squabble on the other side of the circuit. This is for 15th place. Talk about saving it for last. Tom Ingram-Hill gets on the inside of Gregor Reed with Gabe Cullen, Dana Moore, Lizzie Mentia and Ben Simpson in tow. But Noah Wolf has done enough. He hangs on. The checkered flag flies. Noah Wolf victorious in the first super final of the season. And it is Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie that come through in second and third from Bartle, Murphy and Taylor Orridge. Big drama for Josh Turnbull at the end of the race there. I'm not sure he came through in position. I think he's had a moment on the final lap, but it is a terrific victory for Noah Wolf. He just about hangs on with a massive mountain of pressure from Mins and Leslie. He takes the victory. Noah Wolf on top, Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie behind from Harry Bartle and William Murphy. Taylor Orridge in P6 from Joshua Graham and Finley Buck. Thomas Mintz-Spearing comes home in the top 10, a good fight back for him. And Liam Hartley for Jack Dex Racing places his car firmly in the top 10. But looking through that Minimax field, there's about 20 drivers who can win races this year. And certainly this first race doesn't tell us everything about the story, but Noah Wolf has staked his claim for the UKC Minimax title.
Finn Leslie, Sebastian Mins and Noah Wolf providing the action out in front. And in the finish, Noah Wolf held on to that lead after he got it. So from second place on the grid to first place at the checkered flag, here's what he had to say at the podium.
Finn, 68 drivers in Minimax this weekend. Is that the biggest field you've raced in?
I think so.
And a great result for you. Third, you're an old hand, of course. You know that third place is great points to start the championship. What's your hopes for the championship season as a whole?
Well, we just need to keep getting consistent points over the year and just see where we end up at in the end.
Okay, just talk us through that final.
Well, we started third, got into first on the first lap, then led for a few laps, then dropped to second, and then we had a bit of a moment at the last corner, and then we dropped to third, and then sat in third for most of the race, and then that's where we finished.
Okay, who do you want to thank?
Sam Pollitt Racing, and my sponsors Raceway Motorsport and Sensafely.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
What were you expecting from this weekend coming in? Big grid. Is that the biggest grid you've raced in?
No.
You're racing bigger than that?
Yeah.
What were you hoping for?
Top 5.
Okay, so decent result for you then.
Yeah.
Who do you want to thank for your weekend?
Motorsport Finance, my dad, my mum and my sister.
Okay, well done.
And my dog.
We struggled on the first couple of laps. We were in third, and then Leslie had a bit of a moment at the last corner, and I got up to second, and then I overtook Seb up at Christmas corner for the lead, and then led to the end.
Just talk to us a little bit about your mental attitude coming into a weekend like this. Big grid, huge, 68 drivers, that's big. So 2 full grids of 34, just to make the A final for a lot of people is a great target. But obviously, you know, you're a serial front runner. What were you hoping for this weekend?
The top 5 would have been good, but top 3 was probably the aim.
Okay, and who do you want to thank?
My sponsors, my driver coach Louise Keith, my family, and it's my mum's birthday.
Okay, happy birthday to Mum.
Thanks.
I'm not entirely sure a UKC trophy is quite what she wanted for her birthday, but it certainly does well for Noah Wolf. He takes a 7-point lead over Joshua Graham, with Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie just another point each adrift. Harry Bartle is in the top 5, Will Murphy is P6, and then there's a point between Liam Hartley, Freddie Housley, Thomas Mintz-Spearing and Harrison Whitcomb, with a whole host of drivers, including Rory Armstrong, that didn't even make the final. What a year it's going to be.
The next class we're featuring is the most popular cadet class in the UK, the Honda Cadets, that utilises that 160cc Honda engine. John Hewitt is the man from RPM who has the job of ensuring these workhorse little race engines are running sweetly every weekend.
Hi, my name's John Hewitt. I work for RPM Racing Engines. I do the trackside support at the major events. In the week I work for RPM servicing and dynoing engines. It's a great entry level into karting in general. Easy to use, easy maintenance, good for dads and lads and daughters. A really great class to be in. The torque that the motor's got makes it easier for you to drive, where in the Army classes and the other classes, you need to sort of maintain the speed, where this lends itself to the newer drivers in the class. If they've got any concerns, they would bring it and have it dynoed or send it to have it dynoed. Usually they're pretty bomb-proof, so you don't need to do anything. Simple maintenance, Just a matter of changing oil, and just generally looking after it. As long as it's got fuel and a spark, usually just a pull and go, so really easy to do. The Honda engine is a real easy engine to maintain and use throughout the season.
The only category this weekend with a standing start Honda Cadet should be fascinating from the grid. Max Cuthbert and Albert Friend on the front row from Oliver Majewski and Logan Howes. Bella Fairclough has done well in P5 from Kenzo Craigie. Then Ethan Griffiths and Max Endicott on row 4 from Oliver Spencer and Lachlan Johnstone. Mayan Patel and Rio Licata, Tyler Davis and Jack Price from Mead, McCarty, Meek, White, Till and House. There are a few drivers outside the top 20 to keep an eye on, most notably Alexander Kodjikov and Finley Smith. Could be an interesting charge through from Ashley Haase, and then Kieran Stewart and Oliver Newell on the back row. Let's go racing. A little bit of a twitch from the first two drivers on the grid. Cuthbert and Friend were a little bit edgy on the start, but when the lights went out, both of them were not moving, so that's critical. Now, there might be an investigation into it, but whether they jump the start or not remains to be seen. So they are battling away, and it is actually Albert Friend who has got the better start than Max Cuthbert. So he took the lead. So it is Albert Friend leading the way, and Cuthbert in P2. Then the likes of Majewski, Craigie, Howes, and the rest of them are all charging in behind. It's going to be a fascinating race from here on out. But Albert Friend has the advantage, and here's Majewski getting very close to the back of Max Cuthbert already as they go out of Aussiers and along the back straight. It looks as though Albert Friend has got an insurmountable lead for the time being, but it's Honda Cadet. That lead will not last long because all you need is 2 or 3 more drivers to work together in unison as they are, and they will slice that gap into tiny millimeters.
Place made up there for 10th place on the grid. We'll see who it is as they go through the line. It is indeed Lachlan Johnson, it looks like, made up that place, but it is Albert Friend out front, and he's got a tasty lead at the moment, Jake.
Cuthbert is our cameraman as we ride on board. Oh, he's had a little bit of a nudge there. You could feel that in the steering wheel as he came through. Just a little love tap, a little bit of a nudge. They do say, don't they, that rubbing's racing. Well, Majewski is setting him up, and he goes through, as does Kenzo Craigie. So Kenzo Craigie for the Ambition Motorsport team, he gets through and into 3rd position. That's a bit of a headache for Max Cuthbert. So Friend, Majewski, Craigie, Cuthbert, anybody could still take the win. It's very early days here at Honda Cadet in Wilton Mill. It's ultra competitive. Anyone could take this. Welcome back to the Formula Fans Ultimate Karting Championship season opener at Wilton Mill. We're in the Honda Cadet Super Final at the moment, and it's anybody's guess. We've got Friend, Majewski, Craigie and Cuthbert battling away for the lead at the moment. Kenzo Craigie for the Ambition Motorsport team running in 3rd position and getting the fastest lap here at Wilton Mill. Great to see that Kenzo Craigie is able to come straight out of the blocks for a good time up to the inside, and he's going to take the lead. Majewski and Craigie initially went through on Friend, but now Craigie is able to go rogue and hits the front, and I'm fairly sure that is the very first time that Ambition Motorsport have led a super final in the Ultimate Karting Championship.
Yeah, and the reason for that is they weren't here last year. They're one of the biggest Honda Cadet teams, but they weren't here at the championship last season. And good to see Paul James back this year with his Ambition Motorsport team, and I'm sure they're going to be front runners throughout the season.
Well, so are these boys, the SFR Motorsport team. We ride on board with Max Cuthbert as he tries to go for Albie Friend. His teammate is right in front of him. He's going to work with him. Albie knows he's there. Come on, come on. Nudges towards Christmas, and they're going to try and outfox Oliver Majewski, who was there in 2nd place. Friend actually puts his hand in the air. He's like, come on, come on. What are you doing? He's like, what do you think I'm doing? We're trying to get past the 2 guys in front. Craigie and Majewski working in unison. You can see just how much mud there actually is on the circuit on the run to Wilkins on the inside line there. So many drivers going off at Ashby. That must make grip a real premium at that point on the road.
Yeah, it's dry at the moment, but earlier in the weekend we've had some really miserable rain, and with people going off, they're churning up the grass and mud, pulling mud onto the circuit, but it has dried out now. So it looks like it's going to be dry for the rest of the weekend.
When you say it's dried out now, the track itself, there is definitely a little bit of a racing line which is dry, but there are definitely patches on the circuit which are still incredibly damp. Here we go. The SFR boys are going to go to battle here. Friend is given some assistance by Cuthbert to get into 2nd place. That splits him between Craigie and Majewski. Now he's going to go for the lead on the inside into Ashby, but they're both going to drift out wide. Majewski's going to take it from Cuthbert.
Wow, that's incredible. We saw Craigie go from third to first in the same corner last time, and now Majewski repeats the feat and he goes from third to first.
And I'm fairly confident in saying that that's 4 different race leaders, because Friend has been at the front, Cuthbert was at the front because he was on pole, Majewski's now in front, and Kenzo Craigie's had his turn as well. So 4 different race leaders over the course of this race. So it is still incredibly tight to suggest who's going to take the victory. There is now a bit of daylight between Cuthbert and Friend. Craigie has fallen to the back of the quartet, but he's got pressure from Max Endicott, who's only half a second back. In 6th position, it is Rio Licata. Where's he come from? There he is, in front of Logan Howes. And then it's Fairclough, Griffiths, Patel, Wolfit. Here they come. A great battle for 10th position at the moment. And as it stands, Mayan Patel is just about in the midst here because he's lost a couple of positions. The 95, Charlie Wolfit, is at the front of this little gaggle at the moment. So still they duel away for position, but Mayan Patel having lost ground. Jack Price, Lachlan Johnstone, Jaden Mead and Oliver Meek are all in this gaggle. We've got so many drivers trying to steal a place or two. Levi McCarty is not a million miles away from this either. Into the food. Honda Cadet battle absolutely raging. Back on board with Cuthbert. He's been steadily closing in. That's how quickly he's done it. In behind the Passion Motorsport driver Oliver Majewski. They come off of Oblivion. Long, fine lady up Manuel's bank and into Christmas. This will be textbook. Cuthbert gets through. No issues at all there. He lines him up nicely. And this time, legitimately, Max Cuthbert is a race leader. He started on pole, but he lost ground initially to Albert Friend. Then Craigie took the lead. Then Majewski took the lead. And now Max Cuthbert, legitimately, is a race leader. So through they come, out of Wilkins, on the drop to Oziers. What can Majewski do in retaliation? A bit of a wider trajectory from Max Cuthbert to take the lead. And now comes an interesting problem in Honda Cadet, because you've got so many new faces in Honda Cadet each year. They're going to encounter something which not a lot of kart racers do. They're going to have to work their way through traffic, and that can cause its own problems. They've really got to be on their toes here, Cuthbert and Majewski, because Albert Friend is in third, catching them up. And if they make one error of judgment here in their bid to get past, I think that is Ashley Haase, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
I think Ashley's had a problem earlier in the race, which has put him where he is right now. But, well, I have to say that's really good driving by Ashley Haase. Very aware of the blue flags that he's been given, gets out the way and allows the 3 leaders through. Yeah, that's a difficult character building moment for a young driver, because you want to be racing up the front. He's obviously had his difficulties, but he sees what the situation is. I'm not going to ruin anybody's race here. On you go, boys. Have a taste of it. I'll get you next time. And Cuthbert, Majewski and Friend continue on their way as Ashley Haase continues on his plight. Now, Endicott, Licata and Craigie are having a great scrap. Craigie down to 6th position. He was leading at one stage, and how about the gaggle behind? You've got Fairclough, Wolfit, Price, Johnstone, Griffiths, Meek, Patel, Mead and McCarty. They're all in this absolute squabble, and it's changing hands rapidly. McCarty's now fallen away from that particular spread of drivers as you continue to watch them all in close proximity and formation. McCarty losing about 5 seconds, and that drops him to 22nd. That's how much you lose in this battle. Here we go for the lead. What a switcheroo from Friend! That is amazing as he cuts back in on Majewski. Cuthbert and Majewski were too busy squabbling amongst themselves. Friend said, right, I'm going to come at you from a long way back in. I'll split the two, and he has. So Friend is now in 2nd place. We're going to have to watch to see what he does, because Cuthbert parks it in the middle of the road. We're getting to the tail end of the race. So can Friend cut the inside line? No, he can't. Cuthbert holds it through the final turn as we ride on board the Nassau and into the last lap. It's now or never for Albert Friend. What is he going to do? Through Crook, through Oblivion, along Manuel's bank. This is going to be a big launch forward, but where is Cuthbert going to hold the kart? On the inside line, Majewski absolutely launches in on Friend. Friend is going to defend on the way out. Absolutely perfect from Albert Friend. Doesn't lose too much time for Inkermans. Holds 2nd position, and he still has a chance here. Majewski's going to try and cut in. Friend around the outside. How did he save 2nd place there? Well done, Albie. That is now an amazing chance of the victory. He could have thrown that away, but he keeps the kart nice and planted. Majewski's still there. He could steal this. Cuthbert's got to park it in the middle of the road. Majewski goes the long way round on Friend. Friend has got to hold this right round the outside of the boot.
He can't. Majewski's going to get second. No, Friend holds it. Amazing in the line. Cuthbert's going to get it, but Friend hangs on for second in front of Majewski. Any other driver would have bailed out of that. Friend stood on the throttle, held on and said, no, I'm going to take second anyway. Oh, stunning from the Honda Cadets. Cuthbert, Friend, Majewski. That could have gone anybody's way. They all had a claim to the victory in that. And it was wonderful to watch them dance to the line in pure aggression. Cuthbert, Friend, Majewski. What a podium that is. Max Endicott did a great job to charge up to P4. Kenzo Craigie, not a bad job. 5th position will have to do. Logan Howes in P6, a good effort from him. Charlie Wolford is 7th, ahead of Jack Price. A good fight from Mayan Patel. Good to see him in the top 10, in front of Ethan Griffiths in the Zip car. This is going to be a mega Honda Cadet UKC season. There's at least 7 drivers, maybe even more, who could win multiple times through the season.
Well, how about that there in Honda Cadets? Fantastic racing from those 3 youngsters. It was Oliver Majewski and Albie Friend and Max Cuthbert doing the business right down to the wire there. And in the finish, though, Max Cuthbert held off the challenges, taking it from pole position to the checkered flag. A great win for him. Here's what he had to say on the podium.
Oliver, 3rd place on the weekend. What were you hoping for coming into this weekend? Big grid.
I was hoping for a podium, maybe even a pole position.
And the podium was, at the end of the day, great start to the championship as well. Important points in the bag. Who do you want to thank for your weekend?
I'd like to thank Connor Mills, Passion Motorsport, and my mum and my dad.
What were you hoping for yourself coming into this weekend? Grid of 68 drivers, big grid.
Well, I was hoping for a top 3 at the worst, but I think 2nd was good.
Yeah, very good. And who do you want to thank for your weekend?
I'd like to thank SFR, my mechanic Matt, my teammate Max Cuthbert for helping me and working together, and yeah.
Obviously delighted with a win, but were you dreaming about a win coming to this weekend?
Well, I always think I can win, and it happened this weekend.
Okay, and great result for you. Who do you want to thank for your result?
Nathan, SFR and Bontov Car Engines.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Honda Cadet is exciting at the best of times. 2022 is going to go fever pitch. Max Cuthbert is 4 points ahead of Albert Friend after the opening weekend, but Oliver Majewski is only a further 3 back. It's very close for P4. Logan Howes, Kenzo Craigie and Bella Fairclough are only 8 points apart. Then Max Endicott and Ethan Griffiths lead the chasing pack, with Lachlan Johnstone and Oliver Spencer still very much in contention at this early stage of the season. Junior Rotax will conclude things here at Wilton Mill, and with 91 drivers, just making the A final for many was a win. How close is Junior Rotax going to be in 2022? Well, get this. The Super Final has some big names missing. Sophie Kinghorn, Lucas Jex, Dylan Mackay, even Lloyd Hare and Bella Franklin didn't make it, and we thought they were going to after their strong showing in the weekend. So, here is the grid for the Super Final. Gabe Fairbrother and Henry Beaumont on the front row of the grid from Ethan Simmons and Charlie Hart. Pearson Bullock Carter and Ted Bradbury from Stephen Duncan and the Charmander. Watch out in the top 10. Just behind them, you've got Alfie Briggs. He's a circuit specialist, as is Archie Clark, who knows his way here very well indeed. Reza Sawarathan has been very strong over the weekend, and Harrison Crowther and Aditya Kulkarni not expected to be that low down. Let's go racing, up to the first corner, and a cracking start from the front of the grid. Our cameraman this time is Archie Clark, who has motor racing very much in his veins. His grandfather is one of the greatest rally drivers of all time. Up to the first couple of corners of the lap then, and we're on board with Ewan Charman on the visor cam as he tiptoes his way through. This is how much G-force and adrenaline is pumping through your veins as you are rocking around these apexes. Archie Clark on the inside into Ashby. He's picked off about 3 or 4 cars, made that 5, 6. There's contact. 2 wheels in the air from one of the hunters. I think that was Gustav Uzakov going slightly airborne. Ewan Charman getting through, and that is good enough, I do believe, for, is that 3rd or is that 4th, because we've got Fairbrother a long way out in front. Simmons is next up for sure as they come through the toe of the boot. It is very fast and frenetic. That is Stephen Duncan battling away there with Ted Bradbury, so they come through together.
The timing is telling us that Gabe Fairbrother, Ethan Simmons is leading. Gabe Fairbrother, though, is not even in the timing.
No.
Gabe Fairbrother on the 2 car is definitely leading.
That's Clark and Rippin both picking off a place there from Leo Purchase. So nicely handled there from Archie Clark. And he makes the gap wide enough so that Leo Rippin can get through there as well. There's Fairbrother, easy leader. Simmons, Pearson Bullock Carter. And then it is the 42 of Jarman from the 53 of Bradbury ahead of Stephen Duncan and Reese Lomax. And we've still got a big quality of drivers in the grid. You've got Kerr, Hart, Beaumont, Clark, Rippin, Usakov, Purchase, Ticehurst, Cooper, Baker, Cooper and Alfie Briggs. So they are an absolute wash of talent as they come through. And a fine lady along Manuel's bank and up into Christmas. It's very close. Here's Ted Bradbury. He's been one of the stars of the weekend so far. Been very impressed with Ted Bradbury. He really has raised his A game and he's going to come through on the inside of Jarman. Textbook, easy to get that wrong and he didn't. This is what it felt like on board from Jarman. He skates through, shuts him down on the exit, and Jarman has a quick look over his shoulder just to see if anybody else is going to pick it up as well, and they didn't. Back on board with Archie Clark, taking it 1 kart at a time as he closes up on his next man. That's Henry Beaumont. So Henry Beaumont is the kart in front of him, and he wants to try and reel him in as quickly as possible. Great racing in the middle of the pack as well. Behind Clark, you've got the likes of Ticehurst, Baker, Briggs, Cooper again, because it's Jack and Leighton. And then you've got Harrison Crowther, who is charging his way through from the back of the field. Here goes Joe Rippin on the inside, launches in. What a slingshot. Excellent overtake into Christmas. And now they are going to have a little bit of pressure from this man. Hello, boys. Here comes Gustav Uzakov. That'll do nicely on the inside. And he moves up into Ashby and takes over the place. The Hunter Motorsport team making big waves here this weekend.
Regular viewers of the Ultimate Karting Championship will remember the crash that Gustav Usakov's had at Wigan a couple of seasons ago at the end of the season.
I think he just got the move on Beaumont. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, he did. And I'm not sure how many views that clip has had now. It's something like 4 or 5 million, something like that, but it was one of the biggest crashes we've seen for years.
Isn't it funny? You go viral in the worst possible ways. I still go viral for that front fairing being thrown at that bloke as my bit of commentary, and for some reason, that's the thing I'm most famous for. It's not quite what I would have chosen. Up to the hairpin at Christmas, and that's a lovely move on the inside there from Harrison Crowther. He picks off another opponent. That is at the expense of Leighton Cooper. Now he's going to try and get away and stretch out the advantage. Well, it looks as though we've had a red flag here at Wilton Mill. The race has been stopped. We've had an incident at the first corner. So the field is going to be brought to the back straight, ready for a restart. It's involving Reg Haywood and Harrison Crowther. They have come off the course at Oblivion. That's the fastest corner on the circuit. So the race has been red flagged. Well done to the Orange Army. That was the right decision, because it looks as though Reg Haywood is in some discomfort.
Gabe Fairbrother doesn't like it, Jake. Gabe Fairbrother had this race in his pocket. He hates to see the red flag because there's going to be laps remaining.
Well done to the marshals. They have got Reg Haywood out. Really, really good to see him getting out there. That's a nasty place to go off the road.
I think we're going to have a lap under the Battenberg. We've had a lap under the Battenberg. We've got 4 laps remaining, and Fairbrother now is the target. He was well clear, but not anymore.
So now we go green, 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 and it is Gabe Fairbrother in front of Ethan Simmons as they go through turn 2, and Simmons is going to get out wide. And Simmons gets the gesture from Bradbury. Work with me. No, I can't, because I'm losing more ground. Jarman goes through into 3rd position. So now it's all down to Bradbury. Can he catch and pass Gabe Fairbrother? This is going to be very tight all the way to the finish. But can Bradbury get on terms with Gabe Fairbrother? Fairbrother leads the way. Bradbury in 2nd place. These are the 2 teams racing against each other here. Ultimate Art versus Sam Pollock Racing. And is Archie Clark going to be able to hold on to his position as he battles it out with Blake Ticehurst?
Now, Ted Bradbury was far enough behind. He wasn't going to be a problem to Gabe Fairbrother, but he had a lot of pace, as we know. Set the fastest lap just before the break. And that is a great move going through on the inside. Ticehurst takes that spot from Archie Clark. It looks like Clark might lose another one.
Yeah, Alfie Briggs is going to get his way on the inside, and his teammate very nearly joins him there. That was a very exciting run, but not for Archie Clark. He loses quite a few more positions than he was hoping to. These 3 have got well clear now. Fairbrother, Bradbury, Charman. We're back on board with Archie Clark. That is Alfie Briggs in front of us, and Briggs is going to pick off a few. Ticehurst runs out wide, manages to cut back in front of Beaumont. Briggs can't move forward, Clark can't move forward either.
Bradbury with the fastest lap. He's the fastest man on the track. He was the fastest man before the red flag, but he was miles behind the leader. Now he's the fastest man on track, but he's right behind the leader. In fact, the front three coming up, any one of these three now can win this.
A 4-lap sprint, and here comes Bradbury on the inside of Fairbrother. Now we're going to get them wheel to wheel. Fairbrother on the switcheroo, tries to cut back in. He holds on in front of Charman briefly, but Charman gets in a second. No wonder Fairbrother was fuming at the red flag, because his massive lead is now nothing. Into second place, he comes back on Ewan Charman. Now he's got to try and catch up to Ted Bradbury. Well, he had a massive lead. The red flags needed to come out, but at the expense of Gabe Fairbrother's dominant lead. And now Ted Bradbury is just a stone's throw away from picking up the win.
What a turnaround. Absolutely unbelievable, but that's the nature of things.
Look at the mechanics going bananas on the sidelines. Come on, Ted, you can do it. You can hold him off. He's got about 8 kart lengths on them.
He's done it. He is not going to lose it from there. That's too much of a lead as he sets another fastest lap. So Gabe Fairbrother, well, you got to feel for him. He had this race done and dusted after about 2 or 3 laps, and he just increased his lead with Bradbury behind, then setting the fastest lap. Then comes a red flag, and now this.
So Wilton Mill and the Ultimate Karting Championship gave us a 4-lap showdown. It's interesting, Formula 1 didn't. That is a technical flag for Ethan Bentley. So problems for Ethan Bentley, I'm afraid, to the end of the race, and it looks as though we've got a problem for somebody going off the road going into the final lap. But as you say, Ted Bradbury is well clear now of Gabe Fairbrother and Ewan Charman going into the last lap. Gabe Fairbrother must be sick to his stomach.
He will be, but he's highly experienced and he will know, well, let's hold on to second. Let's not give away this second place. Take the points moving forward, and we'll go forward to the next round, and we'll just take this on the chin.
Ted Bradbury's birthday and Christmas have come unbelievably early in the season here. That is an amazing steal in the first Junior Rotax Super Final of 2022. There are yellow flags out for a car parked on the sidelines, so they can't even go for an overtake in the boot. So it is going to be a fascinating end to a brilliant race from Ted Bradbury. He celebrates with his team, 2 arms in the air. Bradbury takes the win in Wilton Mill. Absolutely astonishing as the field storms across the line. That is what a 4-lap sprint looks like at Wilton Mill to close out the weekend. That was remarkable racing and a great way to start UKC in 2022. Now this is a replay on board with Archie Clark. What happened to Blake Ticehurst out of the final turn? He is the luckiest man alive. How about that? He just misses going face first into the barriers on the final lap. Ted Bradbury picks up the win though from Gabe Fairbrother and Ewan Charman. Ethan Simmons, Pearson Bullock-Carter in the top 5, from Stephen Duncan and Rhys Lomax, Oliver Kerr, Henry Beaumont and Alfie Briggs. And look at that graphic, 7.5 seconds covers them all.
Well, excitement there in Junior Rotax. We had that incident involving karts down there at turn 2, which led us to the virtual safety car. Gabe Fairbrother led them out on the restart after that one, and it looked like he had it in the bag, but from nowhere, another overtaking incident somewhere out in track, which I didn't spot from the inside where I'm stood right now, meant that Ted Bradbury from Sam Pollitt Racing got himself out in the front and held it with about 3 laps to the finish. He's going to be through with that one. He was double fists in the air when he crossed the line. Let's go and find out what he had to say at the podium.
Ewan, great start to a championship season for you, 3rd place there, important points. Just talk to us a little bit about the race, particularly after the red flag.
Yeah, it was really good. Off the start we made up a few positions, and then during the middle of the race slowly made our way up to I think we were 4th before the red flag, and then after the red flag, of course, it all bunched up. Made my way through to 3rd and kind of sat there for the rest of the race.
Do you think the red flag helped you in the end, go from 4th to 3rd, or do you think you might have got there anyway?
Yeah, it definitely helped me and assisted me in the move on Ethan Simmons.
Okay, and who are you thanking for your weekend?
I would like to thank Danny Sweeney, our Genty Motorsport, and my mum and dad.
Gabe, massive lead in that race, and then came your Lewis Hamilton moment, the red flag, and then it all sort of went a little bit pear-shaped after the red flag. Just talk to us about that a little bit, because what a lead you had.
Yeah, well, we just started off the race really strong, got our head down, didn't look back, built a massive gap. The team was saying well done, and I was like, just got my head down. And then unfortunately, 3 kids hit a wall, and then red flag happened. We started the whole race. We restart the race, and then unfortunately we get overtaken. Had to defend for second, and that's all we could have.
When the red flag came out, was that a bit of a sinking feeling when you saw that?
When I saw that red flag, I was thinking they must have to end this race. That's it, 2 minutes left, they can't run it. And thoughts would go in, what happens if they do? And they did, so I was just devastated, really.
Okay, but great start to the championship season for you anyway. I mean, you know more than anybody else here almost that it's about championship points, it's about consistency. So who are you thanking for your weekend?
I'd like to thank Ultimate R, my dad, my mum, Aidan, my mechanic, Ultimate R, and everyone who supported me.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
What were you hoping for this weekend when you came into the weekend? What were you hoping for?
Well, before this weekend, there was a Wilton Mill Club round, and we won that, so we had high hopes coming into it, but anywhere in the top 3 would have been good, but the main one, P1, would have been great.
Yes, fantastic for you. And as I always like to end these interviews, who do you want to thank?
Sam Pollett Racing, especially Sam Pollett and Lewis Brown. They're just making sure my car is always the best it can be, and making me a better driver all the time. And then my dad for mechanicking me, making sure nothing falls off. And my mum, my sister, and all my family.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
A groundbreaking moment for Ted Bradbury, and now he's only 7 points adrift of the championship leader, Gabe Fairbrother. Ethan Simmons is in the hunt, as too are Pearson Bullock Carter and Henry Beaumont, tied for 4th. Ewan Charman and Stephen Duncan are level for 6th. Charlie Hart, Reece Lomax and Oliver Kerr are only a point apart, all in the top 10. Bring on the season battle in 2022. Junior Rotax is going to be electrifying.
Well, sadly, that's all we have time for from this, the opening round of the Ultimate Karting Championship. But oh boy, what a season opener it was. Join us next time then for round 2, when the action takes place up in the northeast from Warden Law near Sunderland. Until then though, from all of us here at Wilton Mill, see ya.